Things you didn't know that you didn't know, Part 9. 75% of the mass of a human brain is made up of a substance called myelin. And myelin is made up 100% by cholesterol.
I was tagged in this video a lot, so I figured it was time to discuss. Based on the first statement, if 75% of the brain is made out of myelin, and 100% of myelin is cholesterol, that would mean about 75% of the brain is made out of cholesterol. The first thing to note is that myelin is only comprised of about 40% cholesterol rather than 100%. It is true the brain contains about 20% of the whole body cholesterol content, at a staggering 23 milligrams of cholesterol per gram of brain mass. However, contrary to the claim, that means that the brain is only made of about 2% cholesterol.
On a separate and completely unrelated subject, Alzheimer's disease is a neurodegenerative brain disease which destroys brain cells. Now, Alzheimer's never existed until 1979, and yet now it is one of the leading causes of death in Western societies. On a separate and completely unrelated subject, margarine was first invented in 1869. It didn't gain popularity until the Second World War, when butter and other animal fats were scarce. It grew in popularity in the 50s, but by the 70s, the animal fats in it had been replaced with vegetable oils. Because obviously animal fats contain saturated fat and a lot of cholesterol, so they wanted to offer a lower cholesterol alternative. I'll leave it there.
It seems this individual is trying to correlate an increase in the consumption of margarine with a low saturated fat and cholesterol content with the first documented case of Alzheimer's and the increase in Alzheimer's disease. Importantly, the first case of Alzheimer's disease was not in 1979, rather it was in 1906, by the man himself, Alois Alzheimer. The manifestation of Alzheimer's disease still existed before 1906, we just simply didn't have a name for it. But here's the most likely reason why there appears to be an increase in Alzheimer's disease rates. The number one risk factor for Alzheimer's disease is an increase in age. And as you can see by this chart, there has been a drastic increase in lifespan since 1950, which correlates almost perfectly with the rise in Alzheimer's disease. Therefore, one of the main drivers in the increase in Alzheimer's disease rate is more than likely an increase in life expectancy.
On a separate and completely unrelated subject, margarine is one molecule away from being plastic.
This idea is something that's been thrown around on social media and on online forums for a while, but I have no idea where it came from. As you can see, margarine has a myriad of different ingredients, and to come up with a chemical formula for margarine would be so long and so complex it would likely not even make sense. The most common plastics have a chemical formula of essentially just carbons and hydrogens, or carbon and fluorine. So it's slightly difficult to even come up with a reason why this myth was created.
On a separate and completely unrelated subject, I invite all GPs out there to check your patients' medical records and see how many of your dementia and specifically Alzheimer's patients have been on statins and or low cholesterol diets for many years.
The main hypothesis of this video is that cholesterol-lowering diets and cholesterol-lowering medications increase the risk of Alzheimer's disease. With that being said, it does appear that statins reduce the risk of dementia and reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Conversely, having high blood levels of cholesterol is associated with increased risk of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. Therefore, if in fact it does appear that GPs find that those on statins have a higher risk of Alzheimer's disease, and we know that it appears like statins decrease the risk of Alzheimer's disease, but high levels of cholesterol increase the risk, the safest conclusion is that it was not the statin that caused them to get Alzheimer's disease, but rather the long-term exposure to high blood levels of cholesterol, in which the statins were provided in order to try and lower. Importantly, I'm not trying to undermine the role of cholesterol and myelin within the brain, nor am I even suggesting that you need to replace your butter and saturated fats with margarine. But this video appears to be trying to make a correlation, when there does not actually appear to be a correlation present, and in fact the majority of the data indicates that the opposite correlation is actually true. With that being said, if you would like an individualized approach to nutrition and lifestyle to optimize your health, energy, and body composition, send me a DM to sign up for coaching.